You're on. You're on.
Good morning. My name is Randy Scher. I am a co-owner of Scher Brothers Farms with my brother Jeff. We've been in business, third generation farmers, been in business for 26 years.
Perfect. Question number 1. In farming over 2 decades, have you noticed a change in the diversity of the workforce from the time you started farming to present day?
If you go back to early agriculture in California, the missionaries used the Indians as farm labor, or actually were corralled into it. Later on, you had the Chinese. After they got done with railroad work, they came into the fields. The Jobs and the Okies of the 30s, 20s and 30s. You had the Filipinos that came in the World War II era, the Japanese that were here and then got hauled off in the 40s, the Bracero program of the 50s. But yeah, the last 2 decades, it's a completely different mindset than it was when we started. You had more career agriculturalists and you had them coming from different parts of Mexico and Central America that you do now. So, yes.
Okay. Question number 2. Are there difficulties in communicating or delegating tasks to employees because of cultural differences or language barriers?
You deal with folks that live in the gray area, so communication may not always be because of language, but just an understanding of the task at hand and the time it needs to be done in.
Do you speak Spanish fluently?
I speak it well enough to communicate, yes.
Okay. Do you think that illegal farm laborers are assimilating to American culture? And if they are they putting forth an effort to do so?
Well, no, they're not. But that's the change that we've seen in the last 2.5 decades is guys came here to make better for their family. And they usually brought family, whereas now it is everybody's here to put cash in their pocket, and the change has been they're just here to, it's just a summer job, just like y'all kids you get. It's a summer job, they're looking to make cash. There's a better offer down the street tomorrow, they'll take it.
Okay. Question 4, does hiring of illegal immigrants as farm laborers have a negative or positive impact on our community?
Anybody that lives in a gray area, that's never good for them nor society. It would be much better if we had the political will to make a compromise on this. You can look up Steinbeck's quote on it. You can look it up. Something about you can keep a hungry man out, but you can't when he looks to his starving children. You really can't keep that man from wanting to go where he needs to be to feed his family. So, does that help? No, because these guys are just here to make a buck.
Yeah.
There's no loyalty. It's just this gray area.
What, can you define what you mean by gray area?
Yeah. People that do not have legal documentation, but have documentation that is sufficient to pass an inspection by an employer, which the employer is not allowed to by federal law to make judgment on. So we take their documentation, knowing that most of it's false. So, but legally we can't question whether it is or not. That would be discrimination.
Okay, question number 5. What would be your optimal solution to solving the illegal farm labor issues?
Get everybody on the books. Legal or not, we should know who's here. And then close down the border and set up a program to where you can bring people in. You've got a 6-month window or 8-month window, come and work, and then you can go back. That's been a huge change since 9/11 is none of the guys go back anymore. It's just too expensive to get across the border. You're going to pay Coyote $1,500 to get across the border, and even then it's only a 50-50 call. So a lot of these guys just stick around, putting more services, community services, weighing on more community services in their downtime. So what would be an ideal situation? Let's get together and let's get everybody who's here on the books, and then let's see what we can do about having some type of a limited work program to where you can come for a few months, make some money. A lot of these guys want to go home. They want to make money, and they have homes. They'd rather be in Mexico. You just have to have the political will to do it, and it's not there. The two sides are so diametrically opposed. I don't see anything changing. Well, what'll change is you'll have a dramatic event in a major American city, which will be some type of terrorist attack. It will be proven to have come through, infiltrated through the southern border. You'll have the military on the border at that point, and then everything changes. So before we get to that, let's try and get some at least common sense into what the reality is as compared to what people on both sides of the political aisle want to do.
Perfect. Thank you, Randy. I appreciate it.